Welcome to Money Mondays with Ash Cash, brought to you by Bank Mobile. Every single Monday at noon, we give you the topics, the things that you want to talk about. And so today we are talking about how to turn your April savings into curbing your May cravings. All right. So we have a minute before we go live. I want to make sure that I am going to share this. So make sure you do the same. Make sure you share this with your folk. We're going to share this. All right, share this with your friends and family. I actually have, we're giving out a gift at the end. I have a challenge for you. And so we're going to give out a gift. So I want to see, make sure that you tune in to the end so you know you can take advantage of our gift. All right. So I'm sharing this on one page. Sharing this on page number 2. I gotta spread the love. So I'm sharing this on a few pages, and you should be doing the same. All right, and then my last page, I'm gonna share it on. All right, let's do it. All right. So welcome to Money Mondays with Ash Cash, part of the Be Empowered podcast series. All right. And so welcome to Money Mondays with Ash Cash, brought to you by Bank Mobile, a digital app that is providing a financially empowering banking experience for millions of Americans. So make sure you check us out. If you're a student, go to bankmobilevibe.com. If you're not a student, go to bankmobile.com and check out how we are helping people become financially free, helping them become financially empowered. And today we want to talk about how do you crave, or how do you stop your money cravings? So today, the saying where they say April showers bring May flowers. Well, we switched that up a little bit. We said April savings curb May cravings, and we're giving you 5 tips to activate your financial freedom fund. And so before we start with the tips, I want to give you some statistics as it relates to savings, right? So 47% of Americans would have trouble finding $400 for an emergency. So that means out of the 300 million people that live in America, 47% of them, which is close to 150 million people, would have trouble. Like if they had an emergency that was $400 or more, they would have trouble trying to get their hands on $400 or more. And so this, and I want to be clear, this has nothing to do with poverty, because most of those people make money, right? There are so many people out there who live paycheck to paycheck, which means that once they get paid, their money usually goes away before their next paycheck comes. And as someone who has been in that situation before, this isn't a judgment. This isn't saying that, hey, you should be doing something different. I mean, we should all be doing something different. But this isn't judging. This isn't pointing the finger. I'm just stating what the fact is. And 47% of Americans would have trouble meeting an emergency of $400 or more. And so that's alarming. Again, no judgment, but that is alarming because you never know what can happen. Emergencies can happen all the time. And this is why we need to create emergency funds. Credit should not be used for everyday purchases. If you're going to use credit, you should have your credit right. But if you're going to use credit, it should be for emergency purposes. And you should have money liquid, meaning your own savings that you could tap into first before you tap into the costly debt. Another statistic, 2/3 of Americans would struggle to cover a $1,000 crisis, right? So we got 47% who struggle with $400 or more, right? So that's 47%, nearly half. But 2/3, more than half, right? 66%, 66.6% of people would struggle with $1,000 emergency. So if they had an emergency that was $1,000 or more, 66% of that 300 million people who live in America would have issues. Like that's alarming. And then lastly, and this one's gonna hurt. 1 in 3 Americans has saved $0 for retirement. So that means 33% of Americans, if they don't start, they will retire with nothing. They actually won't retire. They will be working until they're 80 and 90 years old. And so we don't work this hard. We don't, get jobs and want the American dream and all that stuff to not be financially free. Like, our goal is to become financially free. And so this is why savings is so important. It's not something that you should do. It's not something that it's a nice thing to do, or maybe you do it. This is something that you have to do. This is something that is, the difference between being stressed out and having peace of mind. So this is definitely something that you want to focus on. Do not get to a space where you're just winging it, where you're just taking life as it comes. You have to be intentional about your finances. You have to be intentional about what you're doing and how you are managing your money. So I want to give you 5 ways, right? So 5 tips that you can use in order to activate your financial freedom fund, right? We're not calling it an emergency fund anymore because we don't want to prepare for emergencies. We want you to be financially free, because once you're free, an emergency is not going to affect you. So this is your financial freedom fund. And then how do you activate your financial freedom fund? And I'm going to give you 5 tips. If you follow all of these 5 tips, you will be well on your way to get rid of that number. We don't want you to be part of that 47%. We don't want you to be part of that 33%. We don't want you, or the 66.6%, and we don't want you to be part of that 33%. And so we want to give you 5 ways where you can activate your savings. Number 1, you have to treat yourself like a bill. This is important because most people, what they do is when they get money, whether it's through working a 9-to-5, whether it's any entrepreneurship that they're doing, whatever it is, however income is earned, once that money gets in their hand, usually what people do is that they pay bills. They pay bills first, and whatever is left over, they then start to allocate towards any other savings or things that they may want to do. And so we psychologically, we're putting ourselves last. We say, you know what, I'm going to pay, I'm going to pay my credit card bill. I'm going to pay my rent or my mortgage. I'm going to pay my cable bill. I'm going to pay all my bills. But then whatever's left over, that's what I'm going to focus on paying myself, or whatever the case may be. And so we got to treat ourselves like a bill, and you have to be the first bill. Meaning that as soon as you sit down, you create a budget, and you say to yourself that as soon as I create this budget, I'm going to allocate a certain amount of money that is going to be allocated for me, meaning for financial freedom, for savings, for emergencies, whatever you want to call it. You want to allocate a certain amount of money, or I like percentages. You can do a certain amount. You can say $100, or you can say 10%, or whatever. I like percentages. And the reason why I like percentages is because if your income goes up, for whatever reasons, which we want it to happen, you want to make sure that your savings go up with it as well. So I like the number 10%, but you can choose whatever number you want. But just make sure that you have a percentage or an amount, and you're treating yourself like a bill. Once you create your budget and you say this is the amount, you know that's actually step number 2. Is after you treat yourself like a bill, step number 2 is put aside a set amount or percentage. And because that is truly important. Once you do that, right, you treat yourself like a bill, you put aside a set amount or percentage. Number 3 is I want you to make it automatic. Not even I want you, I need you to make it automatic. The reason why I need you to make it automatic is because if you have to think about savings, that is something that people do not like to do. So if you have to task yourself, and every time you get paid, you have to create a system where you're putting money aside. Some people that may work for, but the majority of people, it doesn't work for. The majority of people are going to do what I just said. They're going to spend all of their money or most of their money, then later on figure out how they could, save the rest. And so I want you to make it automatic, meaning that any money that you get, if you're working a 9 to 5, or if it's any recurring monthly payment that you know you're going to get, figure a way to make it automatic. Automatically have a separate savings account. Have that percentage, that amount go to a separate savings account so that you don't have to necessarily think about it. Out of sight, out of mind. I always tell people to treat yourself like the IRS. Like whenever you get paid from your employer, the IRS immediately or your employer immediately takes the money out, puts it away for the IRS, holds it so that way you don't have to think about putting money aside. So treat yourself like that. Make sure that you're making it automatic. Number 4, and this is how you activate your financial freedom fund. This is how you stick to your financial freedom fund. I need you to make it inconvenient. And what does that mean? That means that if you have a checking account that you're often using, you're often walking by the bank, you should not have your savings account with that same institution. Or if you have a savings account, make sure that you're hiding it, that you cannot see it, that you don't have a debit card for it. You have to make it inconvenient. You have to create a system that if you need access to that money, it is not easy for you to gain access to that money, because that is the number one reason why people mess up their savings or don't save a significant amount, is because they have not made their savings inconvenient. So I need you to make your savings inconvenient. I need you to hide it. I need you to create a way where you do not see it. Lastly, I need you to forget about it. I need you to have convenient amnesia. I need you to forget about this savings. I need to wipe it out of your head, right? Once you treat yourself like a bill, you put aside a certain amount or percentage, you make it automatic so that the money is happening automatic. You make it inconvenient so you don't have access to it. But then I need you to forget it. I need you to forget about your savings. What savings? What are you talking about? What savings are we talking about? Because once you make it inconvenient, then you forget about it. That is the surefire way that you create a financial freedom fund, because that way, if an emergency happens, figure out another way to do it and use this account as the last resort, and hopefully an emergency doesn't happen, and that you stack up so much money, you stash away so much money that you're able to now start to invest that money into other things, into assets, into businesses, into things that are going to help you continue to create your financial freedom. So those are my 5 tips. That's how you curb your cravings, right? So April savings curbs your May savings. So why do you say April savings? So we have 7 days left in April, right? So it's April 24th. And so for the next 7 days, you're gonna run into May by day number 8, right? And so what I want you to do is, for the next 7 days, I want you to curb your cravings. So any cravings that you have, right, I want you to curb them. I want you to begin to save money for the next 7 days. So every time you are about to spend money from now to May 1st, every time you're about to save money, I want you to tell yourself or ask yourself, do you really need this? Or only spend money on things that you need, not want. Meaning that if it's something that's discretionary, you don't have to have it, do not spend money on it. And at the end of 7 days, I want you to email me, ashcash@bankmobile.com. Email me a list of all of the cravings that you had, all the things that you were about to spend money on, and how much money did you save. And I will give a special gift, a bag full of goodies, to the person who's able to save the most money in 7 days. And so go. I need you to do that. That is how we're gonna crave, or your April savings are going to curb your May cravings. For the next 7 days, I need you to make sure that you only purchase things that you need, not that you want. You curb your spending, and you put that money in a savings account. And I want you to make sure that you email me at ashcash@bankmobile.com and let me know how much. What are those things that you put aside? What are those things that you didn't spend money on? And also, how much money did you save? And make sure that you email that to me, and you'll get a bag of Bank Mobile goodies that you can have. All right, so real quick recap, then I'll open up for questions. Number one, these are the 5 tips to activate your financial freedom fund. Tip number 1, treat yourself like a bill. Number 2, put aside a set amount or a percentage. Number 3, make it automatic. Make your savings automatic. Number 4, make it inconvenient. Number 5, forget about it. All right, I am Ash Cash. Let's see. Let's open it up. Let's see who has any questions for me.
Trey Truck asks, where is the best place for me to save money?
All right, so you know I'm biased, right? So I'm gonna tell you that the best place to save money, you open up a Bank Mobile account and open up a high yield savings account. It's a great account to have. There's no fees, no overdraft fees, no fees whatsoever. So I would say do that. The reason why I say that is because Bank Mobile is a digital app, no branches, and so it allows you to do what I just said, right? Have a savings account, but don't link it to your card, so you don't have access to it. And then that way you could create the automatic transfers. What happens when you go to some of the other branches, like the Chases, the Citibanks, the Bank of Americas, the whatever, they have branches on every corner, right? And that's another story as to why they are, the reason why they have those branches where people don't even use them. That's why they actually have to continue to start, to charge fees. But having a digital bank that you don't have, there's no branches to access, will actually help you in the savings process. So first and foremost, I would say, open an account, with Bank Mobile, but you also have other options, right? I don't want to just give you one option. I would say do a savings account at a regional bank, right? A small regional bank that doesn't have a lot of branches. If you have access to a credit union is a great option as well. So I would definitely look at those two as options. First, Bank Mobile. Look at any regional banks that are available to you, but then also any credit unions. Appreciate the question. All right, what do we got next?
Narmats asks, how much of my paycheck should I be saving?
So appreciate the question. The question is, how much of my paycheck should I be saving? I like 10%. Because 10% is a good number as it relates to the breakdown of your budget. And so I would say that you should be saving at least 10%. You can save more if your budget allows it. But the truth of the matter is that some people might be, I don't know, what your financial situation is. Everybody's financial situation is different. And so I would say that I care more about the habit of you saving than the amount. And so I would recommend 10%. But if you can't do 10% for whatever reasons, if you do 1%, I'm happy. If you do 2%, I'm happy. If you do 3%, I just want you to do something, because as you get into the habit of savings, you'll realize how easy it is to save, and how much it saves you. And so how your savings saves you. See what I did? Doom, doom. But you'll see how much it saves you, and then you'll actually be able to increase it with time. And so I like 10%, but I would say just do whatever amount allows you to create the habit of savings. Appreciate the questions, Normad. All right. Any other questions? All right, looks like that's it. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Money Mondays with Ash Cash, brought to you by Bank Mobile, a digital app that is providing a financially empowering banking experience for 2 million plus people worldwide or in America. And so make sure you tune in every week, Monday at noon, but also tell a friend to tell a friend. Share this video. So if you're watching this after the fact, make sure you share this video with your friends, with your family, with your significant others. Make sure you do that. I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in as always. And I'll see you next week. Same time, same place.